Hello, welcome on in to another episode of the Digital Quill Media with your host, Mars Wilson. I am me, she is also they, and any, and I don't even know anymore, so I don't think that really matters. Hi, how are you? Today is episode 46 of the Digital Quill podcast. That is 46 episodes of this bullshit. And I don't even remember which episodes I swore on now. More on that later. So today here in my notes, I have here Music That Made Me, playlist, PSP, Spotify, songbook but with lyrics, and book with bands when I'd listen to music on SiriusXM. That pretty much is everything I want to talk about in this episode, and then some. We've been here for previous episodes where I've shown off a little bit of my Spotify playlists. And by the way, just to, remind everyone who probably doesn't really care as much as I do, Spotify Wrapped is about to come to an end. It is July right now, July 24th? Yep, it is July 24th at the time of recording this. And it's 7 months into the year, which means around October, November is when Spotify Wrapped starts to wrap up. And by December, January, I think it's December actually, we get our results for our listening years. And once upon a time, I didn't care about that, but then one day, after seeing the numbers and the stats and the listening and the hours spent and the new songs and bands I've listened to, I was like, oh hell yeah. I smell a challenge. I shit you not. I have. Let me pull it up for myself really quickly. I have. Go here to the home. 4,410 songs liked on Spotify. That is not all of them. Some of them that are in my liked list don't appear in other lists, and vice versa. So first and foremost, we're gonna go here. And then I'm gonna pull this up. And everything's good. So I'm gonna pull this up. See? 4,410 songs. How nice. There we go. And I'm going to go to It Is That Personal. Let me see. Not as personal. Me themes. There we go. Here we are. As you can see here, this is the music that made me. When I got a PSP, everything changed music-wise, and maybe gaming-wise. Now, when I have public playlists or even playlists that are private, I try to have a bit of a description to kind of talk about what the playlist is going to be about in a way, kind of, sort of, ish. And, this isn't all of them, but this is a good amount of songs that I learned about while playing Rock Band Unplugged on the PSP back in 2008 or 9. One of those two. I think it was 2009. Drain You, Just a Girl, Losing My Religion, The Middle, Chop Suey, All Those Small Things, The Distance, Love You Madly, The Perfect Drug, Head Like a Hole, March of the Pig, Scar Tissue, Semi-Charmed Life, Loser, Father of Mine, Sugar, Creep, Sex and Candy, Girls and Boys. Pretty interesting playlist there, right? Pretty alternative, pretty grunge, pretty 90s. Pretty 90s, 80s, 2000s. Right? Well, let's go ahead and go back to not as personal, me themes. Simplified likes. This is kind of my likes list, simplified. Yeah, at the time of writing the description, I only had 3K or just over 3K likes. Whatever It Takes by Imagine Dragons, Hero of War, Rise Against, Down the Road, Plain White Tees. I actually had this album, and we're gonna click on that right here, actually. There it is. Technically, yep. That is, I had this. I had all of these songs. Down the Road, Losing Myself, If I Told You. If I told you I love you, would it move you enough to even act as though you've heard? I was a big Plain White T's fan for a while. Still kind of am. Hey There Delilah, I can harmonize with the lead singer on that song very well. It bothers me that the human who the song was written about apparently didn't want the song written about them, but hey, whatever. We all have songs that we don't want written about us, right? I don't actually think that's true. I don't think everyone has a song that they don't want written about them, but I'm trying to make the burn of Hey There Delilah be less burny, because that is quite a thing. Dead to Me by The Storyteller, I've definitely talked about that song before. I'm Losing Control, or Lose Control, I'm Doing Fine, Born for This, ooh, that's a good one. Hold On, I'm Coming, Tilt-A-Whirl. So I'm not an ICP fan by any means. I believe it would be called a juggalo. But I do like some songs by ICP, because they're not a terrible, awful, horrible band, and by some songs I like too. Tilt-A-Whirl and Chop Chop Slide, because I imagine the choreography for Chop Chop Slide to be exactly what I do anytime the song comes on, and I need to get like 30 people together for a choreography lesson in Chop Chop Slide. Let's see. My friends do music. Simplified likes, recommendations. This is actually, if you give me a song, if I remember it, it'll go here. So if you give me songs that I end up knowing, which, speaking of this band, this was a band that was recommended to me, as well as Once Upon a Time. There we go. This band and these songs, or I guess this person, is stick figure a one human creation? Maybe, actually, based on what I just read right there. Yeah, the playlist of this, if you give me a recommendation and I remember it, I'll put it in here. I don't have a lot of memories. The last song I added was the 30th, 20th, 2nd. Give me recommendations right now, please and thank you. Comment, stop whatever you're doing and comment right now some recommendations. I actually quite enjoy this playlist. Dance. My own choreography. Which question? Why is that in this playlist? I don't remember. 2 weeks ago? Yeah, I'm not going to remember that. My own choreography. These are songs that I've created my own choreography to. Or at least one that I'm going to create a choreography to. I have some ideas already. I just need to get stronger in certain areas to pull off some of the things I want to do. This requires a partner, because it is technically a ballroom choreography. Don't ask me how I practiced it on my own for years without a second person. I don't know. It's like similar to dancing with a broom in your mom's kitchen or practicing for prom. All right, leave me alone. These are songs I grew up singing in my childhood room. This was when I was older. Hole in the World. God, I love that song. Puff the Magic Dragon. Amazing song. Your Betrayal, Counting Blue Cars. Lump. She's lump. Tom's Diner. The apology song. Toro, I am sorry, for tonight I understand. Your royal blood was never meant to decorate the sand. That song right here, Bad Things by Jace Everett, is the theme song for a TV show that I should not have watched growing up, but I did. Back in choir days when I used to sing Josh Groban, my mom actually said that Josh Groban might fall into the same range alto-wise that I do, so I ended up becoming a Groban fan. I have at least 8 songs liked by him, yep. To dream, the impossible dream, to run, Yep, my confession per te for you, when you say you love me, falling slowly, that's actually a cover he did, and he's great at it. How do you guys feel about covers? What's your personal opinion or non-opinion or opinion-ish-esque about covers or acoustic songs? Because I've met people who cannot stand acoustic songs. Or covers, and your opinions are respected and entirely valid, but it is really hard for me not to like covers and other stuff, because let me see if I can find it. Me themes, simplified likes. The music that made me funny, I'm a menace, I'm walking here. It's under themes, isn't it? It's under themes. Yep, it's under themes. What are your guys' opinions about covers and acoustics? Because here we have multiples of more. Same title, same lyrics, maybe different lyrics, same title, same lyrics, different title. I don't know. It's the multiverse. Addict, Bowsette, Caramel Dancin', Cinema, Come As You Are, Nirvana, Grenade, that has multiple versions, Surface Pressure. Surface Pressure is a song from a Disney movie, Encanto, I believe. ABCDEFU, Complicated, Happier Than Ever. I need to add more songs to this, but this is basically just the start of multiples of more. And again, what are your opinions on acoustics, on like covers? Do you like them? Do you hate them? I like how many songs this has now. TikTok Dance, Just Dance Dance. These songs just make me move. Gangnam Style. There's a memory of me in a Five and Diner when my family and I went to dinner, and my aunt at the time put some music on the jukebox at the Five and Diner. I don't even think this Five and Diner location exists anymore. But she put on this song, and it was around the time, or not, she didn't put on this song. It was around the time when Gangnam Style was really popular, right? I'm sure you guys remember the music videos and how it kind of almost took the world by storm in 2012. Wow. January 1st, 2012. Wow. That's over a decade ago. You remember the dance? Oh, Oppa Gangnam Style. Well, anyway, I was sitting in the middle in between two people. And when I got up to go to the bathroom, I was like, hey, can we switch seats for a minute? Because I had also put on Gangnam Style, and I was allowed to choose one song, so I chose this song. This is how I know, even back then, I was comfortable with myself, even if I wasn't confident. And I got out of my booth. I started doing the dance. Everyone was watching. Some people were cheering, some people were clapping. A couple of the waitresses and waiters and staff and patrons, they were all like, yeah, go. And some of them even joined me. It was kind of nice. I could tell there were some people who wanted to join me but were freaking terrified of doing so for some reason. And it was like 3 seconds, maybe 10 seconds of bringing joy to an entire diner, including my family. They were slightly embarrassed, but they were also highly amused, I could tell. And flashbangs or flash mobs. All of us, Thunderbird Park, 7 months from now, because it'll be cooler. 7 months from now, Thunderbird Park, a Saturday at 8 a.m. Be there or be square. We're doing a flash mob. I don't know what we're gonna do yet. I'm sure there'll be some Fortnite or TikTok dance that'll come up that we can do. Hody dum dee hum. I could probably talk about music forever, and I still haven't created the YouTube playlist yet for music and stuff, but let's be honest, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it as beautifully as I've done here. I mean, look at this. We have themes, right? Hold on. Themes, 4 folders. Word descriptions. Okay, we got word descriptions, song emotions. We got anger, rage, disrespect, grr, break shit, destroy. We got confidence. I feel like that's easily stated. I love these songs. Affirmations, you don't own me. Itty bitty, grinding, nice things. Nice things is a good song. Therapy, as December falls, I wrote about that. Great song. Pink Hotel by Scene Queen, wonderful artist. Feed the Machine, Poor Man's Poison, that's a pretty good one. Good and Goodbye, Madison Bear, wonderful artist. When I Grow Up, NF. And then there's country music. I mean, you know, because not everyone likes country. She gets her own list. Dance and Groove, Country Girl, Shake It For Me. Do Not Disturb, Do Think, Don't Feel. That is a, oh, well, just judging by some of the song titles, just, you know, dude, it's okay to not be okay. Duets, Dun Dun Dun, grab your friends who sing or don't sing and duet into the night. I only have 25 songs in here, but I think for duets, anything you can do, just give me a reason. Stuck With You, Don't Go Breaking My Heart, Hero's Journey from Gallivant. Falling Slowly, Phantom of the Opera, When You Fall in Love With Me. This is such an interesting little epic, by the way. Femme Fatale, or Fatale, The Best of Voices, Heavy Hard Hitters, 2 songs right now. That one's growing. That was one of my more recent playlists. It's lean, it's green, it runs the world. It rules the world, unfortunately. Money on My Mind. By the way, Money on My Mind is actually probably a line from one of these songs that I've repeated way too many times. Love, songs that make you think of that one word. I love you, always, forever, near and far, better together. Rhythm of Love, and swaying to the rhythm of love. Yeah, yep. You're still the one I run to, the only one I do. Mary Jane would approve. I mean, you know who she is. If you're with her right now, put on this list and shuffle and fade away. Yeah. Multiples of More, we went over that. Not English, thank God. Sometimes I get tired. Either way, broaden your musical horizons with this playlist. I need to add more. This one's a really good song. Not music, but not podcast. I need to delete this. Pirate Bay versus The Night Circle versus Norse God versus Carnival. It was just the Night Circle versus Pirate Bay. And then it was that, and then it was that. And I'm like, this is just for the really special worlds of pirates, knights, gods, and carnival. Which... Oh. I do still remember it. Wow, that is a really weird thing to remember. The Sexy Sex, Song with Messages. I think we should listen to these on repeat and discuss. The Beauty of Grey, Lightning Crashes, Compliance, Uprising, Hole in the World, Heal the World, Hero of War, People So Stupid, A Symptom of Being Human, Middle Finger, Imagine, If Everyone Cared, Clown World, If This Country Still Had Balls, Trigger Warning, Strangers Like Me, Everybody Walk in This Land, Zombie, Battlefield, This Could Be My Last Song. This is such a fucking heartbreaking song. Wake Up, We Didn't Start the Fire, It's the End of the World as We Know It, The Method, Californication. Literally just all of these songs. So I added names: Labor, Barren Wolves, Victoria's Secret, 8 to 10, Sing for Myself, Relate, Upside Down, Nothing Ever Changes, Wake Up. I'm sure you guys know this one. If you do not know this song, you might be sleeping a little bit. So you might need to wake up. Riot, the Fallout Boy version of We Didn't Start the Fire. If you haven't heard that one, great song. That's haunting. Songs and music with a haunting impression. War. I don't know a lot about War, but I know something about Inner War. Obviously, Zombie. Yep, not done yet. I have timepieces before my time. A different time. Welcome to the 2000s and 2010s. Yep. Halloween, Spooks and Thrills. Creepy Crawly, Let's Have a Halloween Party. Holidays, Seasons October through January, Self-Explainable. A Specific Vibe. Thanksgiving and Food. We need more food related in Thanksgiving songs. I agree, and I can't wait till September, October, because I'm going to start playing Gobble Gobble on repeat. Gobble Gobble 1. Gobble Gobble 2. Gobble Gobble me. Gobble Gobble you. Oh my, get that turkey in my belly. Timepieces, others probably Spotify. It Is That Personal. Not as personal. Under me themes, there's I'm a Menace. This one has a story, and my best friend, when we used to do night drives, or just drives in general, because we were insomniacs who couldn't sleep, well, there's a reason for this one. I'm walking here. It's probably sunny and not 100 million degrees. The music that made me, my friends do music older, so this one is actually one of my newest playlists, and that's because of a book. Random crap I like. Random crap indeed. I don't know what some of these things are. They're just amusing. The Evie song, the new periodic table. That is how I'm learning the elements of the periodic table. This is fun. I, Robot, Edelweiss, Seagulls. Stop it now. This playlist is short for right now, but this is songs that make me go, what the fuck? If you play it, you'll understand why. And it's private for now because there's only 3 songs in it for 1, and 2, it was only this one, and I didn't want only this one to be played. There's a line in there that I'm honestly not even sure why Spotify still has that song up, but then again, it is a different time, so kind of have to take that into account, I guess. Ooh, human beings are wild, wild creatures. I don't understand us. 20 minutes straight of talking about playlists. Nice. 2 final things I want to talk about before we end today's episode is this. Back in the day, I used to have this spiral notebook with like a golden retriever puppy on it. And in that notebook were nothing but lyrics. Not like notes and stuff, because I don't know how to write music, alright? I called it writing music in the day because I was writing lyrics with the sole purpose of hearing a melody in my head and being like, God damn it, I gotta write this fucking damn. I don't have it anymore. It is one of the many written relics and things of mine, written relics and articles of mine that I just don't have anymore, unfortunately. And there was a point in time that I was a lyricist, I guess you could say. That spiral notebook, I probably got halfway through it. And there must be anywhere between 30 to 50 songs, maybe even more in that notebook. All gone. Totally not gonna be able to remember those. Poetry. I managed to have only one of my biggest binders of poetry. That almost was kind of the same thing, but I actually wrote lyrics in a different cadence than poetry, and some people could argue, well, poetry is the same thing as writing lyrics and yada yada yada, this, that, and the fourth, and it's like, nope, not really. There are certain elements. There are things that you write a poem and you're like, this could be a song. And then you write something else and you're like, oh, that's a song. It's hard to explain unless you were there at the time, but yeah, I used to have a notebook. And being the autistic ADHD self that I am, I also had other notebooks. And one of those other notebooks that I mentioned in this description is this spiral-bound, like, college-ruled notebook, right? And I had columns. I literally sat through one day and made column after column after column in every page. And I can't remember it exactly, but I had album, song, and band name. Probably had other things too, but I know I at least had those three categories. And I used to listen to Sirius XM because my family at the time had Dish Network and we had all the music channels. And I would flip through after school in the morning on days I'd stay home from like ages 8 or 9 to a lot of time spent with that, actually, because that was the years my insomnia was the most active, was growing up. And a lot of time spent listening to music. A lot of time. Sirius XM and my PSP are like why I listen to so many different music things now. And why I didn't just stick to country, because I guarantee you in another timeline, in another universe somewhere, there is a Mars who only listens to country and only country. I don't want to meet her. Not because I hate country. I love country music. It's because I don't want to meet the Mars that only grew up on country and only continued to listen to country and didn't listen to anything else, because I feel like, not that she'd be boring per se, but she'd probably be a little bit honky-tonk for me, just on a little bit too much of a honky-tonk. Just not saying there's anything wrong with being honky-tonk, but you know. I grew up in the city. I feel like I'd be even more depressed if I was still in the city and I was only a country girl. Being alternative and grunge, I blame the city for that one, and I thank the city for that one. I used to have so many albums too. I had every single one of Taylor Swift's album up until Red, and then all of Nirvana's albums that I could come across, all of them. Speaking of Nirvana, when I referenced the Kurt Cobain notebook that I talked about before in conversation and in passing, when talking about how I am 99.9, if not 110% sure that Courtney Love killed him, does this look familiar to anybody? No, you think it's just a notebook thing, like something I might have cooked up? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Jesus Christ. It's been a moment since I've opened this up and looked at it. If you read, you'll judge. Speaking of Kurt Cobain, I'd like to extend a bit of a tribute. I don't know what time it is when you're watching this video or listening to this audio or whatever. I don't know what time or what day or whatever I post this. This is pre-recorded. But last week, Ozzy Osbourne passed away on July 22nd. And while I never listened to a lot of Ozzy, I know a lot of people who have. And I'd like to kind of tribute this episode a little bit to his memory and the people who memorialize him, because I could probably relate to some level. It hit me really hard when Michael Jackson passed away. And I called it the delayed grief effect, because I knew vaguely that Kurt Cobain had passed away sometime in the 90s through alleged suicide. Through, I believe, alleged suicide. There's a documentary out or coming out about that, actually, that I need to watch. And when Michael Jackson passed away, I watched his funeral on the television with my mother, and I actually had to leave the room because I didn't want her seeing me cry, especially over that. And I remember this was when I was in the middle of one of my major room cleaning projects, so I had my furniture moved around. There was nothing in front of my window yet, so I could lean against it, and I leaned against the windowsill, left hand out, kind of leaning against it, crying because I had just witnessed the casket of Michael Jackson being brought down. People were talking, his mom, family, stuff like that, and started thinking about Kurt Cobain and other artists and people we've lost. And it was really just in that moment for me about Cobain and Jackson. On the Wii, I had the Michael Jackson's This Is It. I played Heal the World, and there's another one. There were a lot of songs by Michael Jackson that not many people I know. And I feel like at some level I had like a personal glimpse into his life. Sometimes. Not really as much as people I've known. But, Drain You was the first song I ever heard that I am aware of by Nirvana. Drain You I learned because of Rock Band Unplugged on my PSP. Drain You and the other songs I learned because of 90s on 9, Sirius XM. I learned about Stone Temple Pilots and Butthole Surfers and Jane's Addiction and Soundgarden, Weezer, Smashing Pumpkins, Pearl Jam, Live, or Live. Is it Live? I think it's Live. Billy Joel. Some of the songs you saw in the Music That Made Me. Plain White Tees, Blink 182. Uh, Falling in Reverse, and that wasn't until high school, actually. Yeah, Falling in Reverse, Escape the Fate, Bring Me the Horizon, kinda. I was more of a Escape the Fate and Incubus fan. But yeah, I'd like to kind of tribute this episode a little bit to those voices that we've lost, especially in music. Because I'm sure we can all agree that Cobain, Jackson, Prince, Mercury, and Ozzy Osbourne all did tremendous, world-changing, life-changing things when it came to music. And now that they have passed, whatever ill they committed in their life matters still to an extent, of course, because everything matters to an extent, of course. But any ill that they committed in their life no longer matters. They are gone. And it's important that we can respect their memory. So thank you. Thank you, Ozzy. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you, Freddie. Thank you, Prince. Thank you to every voice that has helped heal the people that are still here and past, that has changed things for people through their words and work alone. And with all of that being said, I hope you guys have a great day. Tell me in the comments below what you're listening to, and if I should create a music playlist, or if my playlisting convinced you to join Spotify. This was episode, 1 second please. This was episode 46 of the Digital Quill podcast with your host, Mars Wilson. I hope you guys have a great day. Remember, humans of Earth, keep going. Do not stop. We will see you next time for the next episode of the Digital Quill podcast. Bye!